grandfather에 대해서 메모리를 좀 얘기해달라고 물어볼 거고, 할아버지가 누구였냐, 뭐를 하던 분이셨냐. 이제 토론토 스트랑 이름이 비슷하게 나와 이제.
Could you tell us about the memories of your great-grandfather, Henry Gordon, Dr. Henry Gordon, please?
Yes, thank you for coming and talking with me. I'm honored to talk about my great-grandfather. I remember him, I was a little boy. He was living in Toronto, and this was in the late 1940s, early 1950s. He was retired as an architect and had a home in Toronto. In any case, it was a family custom to gather at their home for Christmas dinner. And I remember I was the only child, and my great-grandfather and his wife were very austere, shall I say, people. And children were to be seen but not heard. And so I can remember being told I must be on my best behavior the whole time, and I'm sure I was. He was a well-known architect in Ontario. He was a partner in an architect firm called Gordon and Halliwell. And I know that he was the architect for a number of buildings, largely churches in Ontario. Some of them are in Toronto and other parts of Ontario. But he was also elected the president of the Ontario Architects Association, or something to that effect, on 2 different occasions. And that was quite rare, that somebody would be elected 2 different times to be the president of the association. So yes, he was a busy architect in his earlier years, but the story is that latterly, as he grew older and his partner, Mr. Halliwell, grew older, they were less interested in architecture and more interested in the study of the Bible. So I'm told that they would spend often a whole morning in the office studying the Bible.
Wow. So he was well-known architecture, obviously has good reputation, very famous and well-known to the community. And I'm sure, like, even back then, actually, there must have been an incident or circumstance that actually tricked him to decide to go to Korea for 1 year and ended up being more than 3 years. Do you remember any incident or calling or that made him decide to go to Korea?
Well, there were a couple of things I think that were instrumental in his decision to go to Korea. One was that he had recently been widowed. His wife had died and left with 3 children who were, I think, probably ages of about 10, 12, and 13 or something of that age. He was at a conference in the United States when he met Mr. Severance at this conference. It was a mission conference, and as far as I know, the challenge had been given at the conference concerning the need for better medical facilities in Seoul. And at the conference, this Mr. Severance, who was I think the president certainly was chief executive of the Standard Oil Company. He volunteered, I think, the money to build the hospital. And at this conference, the implication was that they needed somebody to design it and to oversee its construction. And my grandfather had those qualities and qualifications, so he volunteered.
인터뷰 중에 고든 목사님이 몇 통의 편지들을 보여주셨습니다. 증조부가 되시는 고든 박사가 캐나다에서의 건축일을 중단하고 2-3년을 예정으로 조선으로 병원 건축을 위해 들어간다는 내용이 있었고, 건축가로서의 사명감과 조선에서의 건축을 위해 감당해야 할 어려움들을 솔직히 보여주고 있었습니다. 특히 부인과의 사별 직후 남겨진 세 아이들의 거취와 양육 문제에 대한 안타까움이 절실히 담겨 있었습니다.
Well, he was the architect of the what I think was probably the third hospital. And this was really the first Western-style hospital that was built. But this is the picture of the hospital that my great-grandfather was the architect for, and was opened, I think, in 1904. He was the architect of that, and that's probably the building that he's best known for architecture. But he was the architect for a number of buildings in Korea and North China. Some YMCA buildings he designed.
1903년 조선에는 약 250명의 선교사들이 있었다고 합니다. 그중 과반수 정도가 선교사의 직책으로 파송되었고, 나머지는 정부 고용인, 기술자, 사업가 등으로 알려져 있습니다. 고든 박사는 약 3년 동안 조선에 머물면서 세브란스 병원을 비롯해 세문안교회, 숭동교회, 정동 일대의 다수의 건축 디자인을 담당하므로 조선의 근대식 건축 기공의 시초가 되었습니다. 100년 전 자신에게 주어진 건축 기술을 조선에 전한 고든 박사. 아직도 그 정신만은 지금 서울 어딘가에서 숨쉬고 있지 않을까란 생각을 해봅니다.